We are live. Hello, everybody. I feel like this is not the best angle, so give me 1 second. I feel like whenever I get this like close enough so I can actually read it, read the comments, it's not the best angle, but who cares? We're here to talk about manifesting, and I have a good topic today. This is one that a lot of people struggle with, so we're going to be helping you in this area. We're going to be talking about non-reaction. Okay, so say hello as you hop on, as always, because you guys know I love to see who's here with me. Let me know if you're new or if you're returning. And as always, to catch the replay of this live or any of my past lives, you can go to the link at the top of my profile and subscribe to my YouTube channel, because that's where I post all of them, okay? Also linked in my bio is everything you need. Cash App, ways to work with me, all the things, okay? I also email out, if you're on my email list, I email out each Sunday the replay of these lives, and they go live every Thursday at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Well, it's a few minutes before, but just depends. Okay, so welcome everyone. I'm happy that you're here. Feel free to say hello in the comments. Let me know if you're catching this live or the replay. We're going to be talking about non-reaction when it comes to manifesting, okay? And we're going to be talking about, obviously, how to practice it, but I want to explain to you guys what it is you're doing when you're practicing non-reaction, because I think this is something that's so overlooked, and a lot of people, this is like a big missing piece of why people are not manifesting what they want, or at least not consistently. So I want to explain to you like what it is you're doing when you're doing that, so that you understand the importance of it and have a why behind it to help you stay motivated. Last week we talked about taking action, when to take action. So if you want to catch that live, again, it's on my YouTube, link to the top of my page, okay? So the main thing you need to understand is when we're reacting, it's because we feel powerless, right? We're giving our power away to people and circumstances outside of us, right? So oftentimes when we're reacting because we feel triggered, right? It's because we feel powerless. And there's a little quote I want to give you. I believe it's Louise Hay who said this. And this really helped me when I was working on practicing this, like really embodying this for myself. This really helped me, and it stuck with me ever since. And that is that complaints are affirmations of victimhood. Okay? So here's the thing. Every thought we think is an affirmation, okay? And I'm all for the mindset and thinking positively, and also taking action that helps solidify in the new identity, the new self-concept, doing the practical things. We talk about that all the time. But today, I don't want to talk about how to like micromanage your thoughts, because there's going to be times where you just don't want to do it, or where that feels really difficult. And a time where that's going to feel really difficult is when you're triggered, okay? So I want you to just think about, and you can feel free to drop in the comments below, like what kinds of things trigger you, or how you feel or react when you're triggered. But usually what's going on is you're feeling like a victim. You start complaining, i.e. you're reiterating the old story. And then likely there's something really shitty going on, like, oh, this always happens. It's not working. I'm not seeing movement. Why is this happening to me? It's a very victim-y state. Let me know if this is making sense, guys, okay? Hello, everyone. Hopping on. Seeing all the comments. Okay, so when we're reacting, that's what's going on. Because we don't react negatively when there's something that we deem good happening, right? We're usually happy and excited. And I'm not saying that it's wrong to feel happy or excited, or wrong to feel upset. It's just more so noticing what state are you embodying in those moments, because you have the power to alchemize it. You have the power to shift. And what I'm going to teach you today isn't necessarily about just shifting your thoughts. I'm going to teach you just a really easy, simple way, okay? Helma says, I just reacted so badly like an hour ago. It's okay. Like, let's just have some grace for ourselves. You're human, okay? And let's, before we dive into this, just really understand what are circumstances. Why are things going the way they're going? Why are people showing up the way they are in our lives? Just because that's a story we've practiced, okay? And we've practiced giving our power away, and we have practiced feeling small and incapable in the face of those things, okay? So of course, when you feel unsafe or you feel threatened, like, I'm not going to get what I want, of course that doesn't feel good, and it's like a normal human thing to react, okay? So it's okay. But when you want to really intentionally, consciously create, when you really want to be in your power, you need to just see what you're doing in those moments so that you can reel it back on in, so you can kind of zoom out and see the bigger picture and move more in the direction of where you want to go, and remind yourself of who you are now. Because the whole point of conscious manifesting is you're getting out of a reactive victim state and into your creator empowered state of, oh no, like this is who I am now, right? Okay, so it's okay. It's okay if you react. It's just you want to notice when you are and relax, okay? So, and the more you practice this, you're going to get better at it. And I will tell you, there are certain things that still trigger, like there are certain things that are just like, for me, trigger me. And I work through, you know, when I'm in a good headspace, I work through trying to see it differently, telling different stories. But when I'm in the middle of it, I don't try to wrestle with it, okay? So when we're reacting, we're doing a couple things. We're feeling like a victim. We're usually rehashing the old story, right? We're usually spiraling negatively. So not only are you feeling like a victim, you're like digging yourself deeper in that hole of nothing's working. Why is this happening? This shouldn't be happening, right? You're putting a negative spin. You're assigning a negative meaning to the things that are happening, when really, like, it's neither here nor there what's happening. It's literally all just a result of your old thinking, and you have the power in that moment to choose non-reaction, okay? When you're reacting, you are reiterating to your subconscious mind that you are powerless over that thing. So you're giving that thing more energy and power. This is a focus-based reality, right? Because it's all happening within your conscious awareness. Whatever you focus on is what you're going to experience more of, right? So you can think of this like when you're in an uncomfortable environment. If you, or let's say, let's just use something really simple. Like, let's say you're hungry, right? And you're stuck somewhere and you can't eat, or you put your order in at the restaurant and it feels like it's taking forever. If you sit there and focus on, I'm so hungry. Oh my gosh, my stomach hurts. I'm nauseous. I'm so hungry. I can't think. I can't do anything. I'm so hungry. You're getting really hangry. If that's where your mind's going, you're not going to have a good waiting process for the food to come out. Like, you've already ordered the food's on the way, right? So you could do that. You could focus on what's not here. You could focus on what doesn't feel good, or you could think positively about it, like, oh, the food's going to taste so good, if you want. Or you can just be neutral. You can just distract yourself and talk with your friend and, you know, let the time pass quickly because you're not focused on it. Does that make sense? So we want to like really just be careful of where we're putting our focus. So when we're reacting, we're telling the old stories. Like, we've picked up that old identity, that identity of someone who's a victim, who doesn't get what they want. And then likely you start telling a bunch of unfavorable stories like, oh, this isn't working. Why is this still here? This shouldn't be showing back up. And, you know, a mindset shift that I want to offer to you is that every time this stuff comes up, it's an opportunity for you to choose again. It's an opportunity for you to just stay neutral or tell a positive story. I will say oftentimes it's hard to tell the positive story in the face of something you don't want. And so today what I want to offer you is just to remain calm, okay? And this is going to help you in several different ways. This is going to serve you in several different ways. One is if you can remain calm and non-reactive, you're going to be out of that tense state, which allows it to dissipate more quickly. Okay, so think about it. When you get stressed out, when something's happening that you don't like, likely you're tense, right? And your energy's contracted. If you can just soften and relax, Like physically soften your body, unclench your jaw, relax your shoulders, stop holding your breath, breathe deeply, relax. You're allowing that to move through you, and you're going to have a much better experience of things clearing up on their own. Oftentimes things will just fix themselves if you can stay in a really relaxed state. There's actually a whole book about this. I believe it's called Letting Go. I read that a couple years ago. I cannot think of the guy's name who wrote it. He wrote also Power versus Force, very good books. And basically he was talking about how people just can turn their lives around and experience like magic and miracles by just letting go. So just being in that non-resistant state, just really softening, will work so much magic. I know people who just manifest based off of that. Okay. I'm someone who likes to work on mindset. I like to take action, but I will tell you, when I'm feeling triggered, I 100% revert to this. Soften. Okay. Just soften and relax. You can think of it too, if you are an Abraham Hicks fan, she talks about not arguing for your limitations, right? When you're really reactive, you're arguing for your limitations, meaning you're giving them more power. You're feeding more energy into it. So Neville Goddard talks about how things wither and die with indifference, okay? And I'm not saying you need to tell yourself that you don't care about something that you care about, or that you're okay with something that you're not okay with. I'm not saying that. But what it means is if you stop paying attention to them, because your attention is your energy, if you stop feeding so much energy into it, it will dissipate. It has no choice but to vibrate on out of your experience. Let me know if this is making sense. Okay. So the other reason why this is so powerful is because you don't want to speak against your manifestations. Okay. So yes, we're working when we're feeling good. We're working on our mindset. We're intentionally telling the story we want it the way we want it to be. We're working on our self-concept, all of those things. But what can happen is when we see some of the old story, we see stuff that we don't like, and then we snap into that reactor mode. It's like all the work we've done, we just undo it. Essentially, all the work we've done, we undo it, because that new identity in an instant goes out the window. Your new story goes out the window. Your positive affirmations go out the window. And it's like you immediately pick up the old identity, the one of someone who's victimized, who things don't work out for. And then you start speaking against your manifestation. And what I find is when people are really struggling to manifest is because they haven't built the capacity within themselves to maintain, to hold the new energy, the new vibration, the new identity, regardless of the circumstances. They're very reactive. And so you'll get hot and cold results. You'll feel good and all pumped up when you're doing your affirmations and when you see positive movement. But then the second you see something that you don't think is favorable, you drop all that and you pick up the old story. So you're not faithful to the new story. Okay. So you just really need to pay attention to where's your energy going. And I'm recommending a really gentle approach to this, because think about it. When you're triggered, it's not really the time to try to instill new beliefs. So let me see if you guys can see this little munchkin over here. See that little cutie, my little chihuahua. He is typically pretty chill, really well behaved, but he has his moments, like things like children. He doesn't like children. Skateboards. Doesn't like them. He'll go from being calm to in a second being really, really triggered. When he's all triggered, the hair standing up on the back of his on his back of his neck standing up, he's barking and going crazy. Would that be the time for me to try to teach him a new behavior? Like, no. The only thing I'm going to try to do in that moment is get him out of the situation, probably pick him up because he's little, calm him, be like, it's okay, everything's fine. And then maybe if I want to desensitize him to skateboards, maybe then once he's calm, I'll bring him back to the person with the skateboard and be like, see, it's okay. Skateboard, it's okay. I'm not going to sit there and try to force him to be okay with the thing that's triggering him. Does that make sense? So you kind of want to think about that with yourself too. Or like, how would you treat a little child when they're really frustrated, when they're really bothered or hurt or frustrated or scared or afraid, right? Like, you're not going to sit there and try to like teach them a life lesson. You're just going to calm them first. Okay. So I see a lot of people have actually creating more resistance for themselves, because in the moments where they're triggered, they're either totally reacting, or they're trying so hard to like hammer in affirmations of the opposite that they're creating resistance to. Okay. Neutrality is such a powerful practice. Okay. Because you're just going to stop the negative momentum. I'm reading some of these comments, but they're like pretty off track. Okay. So I'm just going to stay on track with this. And the emotional regulation is really what gives you your power back, because all of a sudden you're not giving your power away to things. It's not that you put the blinders on and say this thing isn't happening. It's like, we're having a real experience here. Like, you're going to see things that you don't love, especially like when you haven't fully stepped into the new identity yet. You're going to see evidence of your old story, but you have to just remind yourself, like, that's just the old story. It doesn't have any power. And you have to really get to this point where you're just unconditional with your vibration, meaning that you're prioritizing your peace. You're prioritizing feeling good. You need to get to this space where nothing shakes you. And you'll find that instead of trying, you want to be, I'm trying to think of how to say this well. The power of neutrality is this. You're not feeding energy to the old story, and you're not creating resistance by trying to be somewhere that you're not right in that moment. You're just neutral. And once you calm down, you'll find that your mind will naturally go to the positive stories, or the positive action, or the easy solution. But it's like, when you're in that moment where you're frantic, it's not really a good time to take action, because you're not thinking clearly, right? Like, have you ever felt like when let's say you misplace an item and you're looking for it and you can't find it, and you're getting more worked up and upset that you can't find this thing? If you notice how if you just give it a break and you come back to it later, you easily find it? It's kind of like that, okay? But I think one of the main things to take away from that is that one reason why practicing neutrality when you're triggered is so powerful is because you're not feeding the old story. You're not feeding the victim story. You just stay calm. You just breathe. And you can go in, I teach this a lot, with blanket affirmations, which is more like just a general statement, something that's going to calm you. Like, it's okay. This is not a forever thing. I'm going to get what I want. This doesn't mean I'm not going to get what I want. Everything's working out for me. I'm safe, whatever. You can go in with statements that help you calm down, but you don't want to, I wouldn't recommend going in trying to hammer in affirmations of everything's perfect. This person respects me now. Everything shows up the way I want it to, if you feel like it's causing more resistance. So it's going to be a little bit different for everyone. You really want to gauge where you're at. You're going to have times where listening to affirmation tracks or saying your affirmations feels good. And then there's going to be times where it just feels like more resistance. So you want to look for that sweet spot of where it feels good. Okay. You don't want to be creating more resistance. I have found that, if you're confused about your next steps, if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling triggered, if you feel like it's really hard, like you're working really hard and not getting the results, that's usually a good time to lean back and relax and soften and just go really general. Okay. And you can even go do something fun, right? Like, it doesn't have to be like work all the time. And then when you do your affirmations, go in with some good general self-concept ones of like, everything's working out for me. Things work themselves out. I naturally think positive thoughts. I know everything's working out for me. Things are getting better and better. It's getting easier and easier for me. Go in with those kinds of affirmations. But you really want to notice in those moments where you're feeling triggered, you really want to work on not reacting. Because it 100% is giving your power away. It doesn't feel good. It's not peaceful. It keeps you stuck in that loop, because you're just reacting to what's been created because where your mind's been before. And the thing is, like, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter what's going on. It doesn't matter what things look like on the surface. It doesn't matter what someone says or does. Like, you get to be at peace regardless, because that's what you choose. And so often why we're reacting is because we're afraid that what's going on means that we're not going to get what we want. But the thing is, you're always moving towards your manifestation. Things are always getting better, but you just block yourself from seeing that when you get in that frantic space. So there's so much power in practicing neutrality. You'll notice that the more you practice neutrality, you just naturally have a better self-concept because you're practicing being in your power. You like prove to yourself your strength. And when you don't react to stuff, you notice how quickly it leaves. You notice how the less you react, the less it happens. And so you do start to see more movement. And you will find that when good things happen, you're not as like, not that you're not happy and excited, but you're not dependent on outside things or people for your happiness and your peace, right? So it's kind of like if you have a wheel, right? If you're on the outer, if you're on like, you know, the spokes on a wheel, if you're on the outside of that wheel's always turning, right? Things are always happening. Things are always shifting. You're going to be up and down on this roller coaster, being flung off the second, you know, like something looks like it's not good, or then all of a sudden like up in the air, excited, and then coming back down. It's going to be really crazy. But if you can think of yourself as being at the center of the wheel, just staying centered and calm no matter what, you can be the observer, you can be the experiencer. It's not that you don't see what's going on, but you don't make it mean anything about you, and you're much more in control. And when you're in that space, you're a lot more magnetic to what you want. When you're in that space, you can think more clearly and logically. When you're in that space, you're in your power to create a better outcome. I want to know if this is resonating, guys, if there's something you want me to explain more. I don't have a whole lot for you guys other than that. I just wanted to, I'll teach you some practices real quick, but I wanted to really explain some of the reasoning behind non-reaction. And just to reiterate again, that little quote that helped me so much when I was really practicing this was that complaints are affirmations of victimhood. So really be careful with this stuff. Notice when you're triggered, do you go to call up a friend? Do you just start going off, going crazy, telling the old story, or complaining, or talking about how it's not working, or why is this happening, or this is not okay? Like, notice, how do you hold yourself in those moments? Because the thing is, you're not a victim. You're going to remain in that victim state, having a victim experience, if you keep reacting to it. But if you can pull your energy back, you'll have a very different experience. It's kind of like in those moments you want to zoom out, you know, see the bigger picture, you know, like notice the little things that you're making such a big deal. You don't need to assign a negative meaning to it. It's like we cause our own suffering with the way we view things. And it's the old victim identity that is so quick to assign a negative meaning to things, or take things super personally, or make it mean that you're not going to get what you want. And that's just not the case. The thing is, when you decide what you want, like that's it. Like, everything in the universe is there to bring it to you. Like, it's there for you in that second. It's just we hold ourselves apart from it in our consciousness by being super reactive and like not telling favorable stories. So you want to make sure you're not arguing for your limitations. You want to make sure you're not reiterating the old story. You want to make sure you're not complaining. You want to make sure you're not tense and tight, okay? Because when you're tense and tight, I've talked about this in some of my other lives, you're not letting a lot in. When you soften, you're letting more in, okay? When you're tense and tight, it's like you're gripping, you're holding onto the identity. When you soften, you're letting go of that old identity. You're letting go of that old story. And there's an element of trust here, right? Like trusting that it's safe to let go of that, trusting that you don't have to try so hard, trusting that you don't have to fight for this, that if you can just soften and relax, it will some way, somehow all be rearranged in your favor. But it can't be rearranged if you hold on to it, because you're holding on really tightly, okay? So let's go through real quick just like how to really relax and like how to self-soothe. I know it's like sounds really basic, but sometimes like just intentionally practicing it will help you remember in those moments that, oh wait, I do know how to hold myself through this. Oh wait, I can embody peace, okay? So if you're not driving or doing anything that needs your immediate attention, you can just sit back. I want you to close your eyes, maybe place one hand over your heart, one hand over your belly, and just breathe. And notice how, as you close your eyes, you're turning your attention inward, becoming aware of your heartbeat, becoming aware of your breath, tuning out the senses from the outside world and focusing more within. And noticing how you feel more calm already. Relax your shoulders, relax your jaw. Take a deep breath in. Sigh it out. Notice how your heartbeat slows down. You're more calm, you're more relaxed. And you can even say to yourself, in this moment, I am safe. It is safe for me to feel safe. And I want you to just take a little break from trying to figure out whatever you're trying to figure out. Take a little break from needing to understand it all, from feeling like you need to do it all on your own or fix it right now. And just feel into this unconditional peace, this unconditional safety that does exist within you in this moment. And just notice how intentionally slowing down, intentionally connecting with your breath, with your body, intentionally even just closing your eyes and disconnecting from the outside world for a little bit, how just that little action of softening and doing that can shift so much within your energetic state. And you can feel free to let me know in the comments below if you noticed a shift just in a few seconds there. And I wanted to lead you through that. I know it's very simple, it's very basic, but we're not really taught this. We're taught to just constantly be stimulated, constantly on our phones, constantly in our heads, constantly looking to people and things outside of us, constantly trying to figure it out. In this constant reactive mode, overstimulated, we're not really taught how to practice relaxing and softening. And the thing is, it's actually very simple and it's always available to you. No matter what's going on, that's available to you. So this is something that I would suggest. This, would fall under nervous system regulation. I would suggest doing this, of course, when you feel stressed, but also as you go about your day. I like to intentionally just chill and regroup. So, I get busy doing my things throughout the day. I have a lot going on. And when I notice, I'm like, okay, I've been working at this consistently for, whatever it is. If I'm working on school, if I'm doing stuff around the house, if I'm doing stuff for my business, and I'll just remind myself, okay, let's just regroup. Let's just pull our energy back in, and I intentionally relax. Abraham Hicks refers to this as segment intending. And basically what it is instead of continuing to go until all of a sudden you're running on empty, you're taking a break to pull your energy back and really remember, okay, 1, I'm in charge. 2, check in with yourself. What do I need? Do I need to eat? Do I need to take a break? Do I need to go move my body? What do I need? What do I require right now? And then it also allows you to take a little break and regroup so you can think, okay, what's the next most important task? Where is my energy best used, right? So this serves you beyond just calming down when you're stressed out, when you're feeling reactive. It serves you in just being more self-aware throughout your day. And the more that you do it, the more you anchor it in. And of course, you can use your affirmations. I make affirmation tracks. You guys love them. I love them. I love my affirmation tracks. I know some people don't like affirmations. I personally do. And oftentimes they feel good. But there are times where just a little bit of stillness, a little bit of quiet, a little bit of just allowing your mind to slow down works wonders. And the more you practice this, the more you're going to know what feels good, right? You're going to be more aware in those moments. Like, what do I need? Do I need to just stop complaining? Do I need to just breathe and remind myself that everything's okay? Do I need some general affirmations like everything's working out? It's okay. I don't have to figure this out. Kind of some self-soothing. What do you need? Do you just becoming more aware of where you're at, instead of just being in this constant reaction mode where we're just reacting to life. So it's really about learning how to be in your power more. I hope this made sense. Let me know. And if this is something that you want help with, guys, you can always work with me, either email, coaching, or book a call. I also have a lot of self-paced programs. So if you go to the link in my profile, it has everything there. You can take a look at everything. I have affirmation tracks and subliminal meditations. Also my program, Manifestation Mastery, I teach you I go through a lot of what we talked about today. I mean, guys, I give you everything. Like, if you were to watch every video I've ever made, like, I give you everything. There's no like secret sauce that I keep and just put in my paid programs, or, when you work with me, like, I give you everything here. The reason why people get coaching or invest in a program is because it's all in one place for you. So you can keep practicing this. It's like lather, rinse, repeat. You just got to keep doing it. In Manifestation Mastery, I teach you when to take the aligned action, like we talked about in last week's live. I teach you when to regulate your nervous system. I teach you when to work on your mindset. There's all these different facets of it. We're very complex beings. Manifesting's simple in the sense of you want to just decide what you want, who you want to be, and then trust that decision. But there's so many facets to it. And like today, what we're talking about is how when you're reacting, it's like you're not trusting your new decision of who you are. It's like you threw that off and decided to readopt the victim, the old identity, So it's just, there's lots of different facets to it. And I want to encourage you to just keep going at this, keep growing, keep working on yourself. You're going to notice, if you stay consistent, that things get better. And if you feel like you've been consistent and you're not seeing results, it just means that there's a piece that you're missing, okay? There's just likely something in your blind spot, or maybe you just need to persist longer, just gauge where you're at. These lives I show up on these lives to help you guys. I create all the offerings that I do to help support you guys in this, because it is a journey. And I want you to not get so hung up on needing to have everything right now. And remember that your life is a journey. You're going to get to where you want to be. And I want you to think of it this way. Like, when you get the goal that you have right now, whatever your big goal is, whether it's weight loss, whether it's a relationship, whether it's certain income level, whatever it is, once you get that, because you're going to get there, there's going to be another thing that you want. There's going to be another goal. And how do you want to experience your life? Because so much of life is the journey. Do you want to always have this experience of it's not here yet, frantically trying to make it happen, constantly reacting when things seem tough or difficult? Or do you want to have an experience of being the empowered person who says, oh, of course I'm getting that. That's where I'm going. And I get to feel good now. And I get to practice being peaceful and feeling safe. You have a choice in that. And I will tell you that the more you relax, the more you can land in trusting and knowing that everything's working out for you, the quicker things will rearrange for you. And simply for the reason that because you're not thinking against it. So this is such a powerful practice to incorporate. I'm not telling you to stop the things you're doing. I'm not telling you stop taking action. I'm not telling you stop with your affirmations. I want you to keep with those things. But if this is an area that you've been glossing over, I really encourage you to work on this, because this is a gold mine right here. This will change so much for you. Okay, so I intend that this was helpful. I want to thank you all for being here with me. If you want to catch the replay of this, I upload them usually Saturday, always by Sunday, if not Saturday, and I include the replay in my email that goes out every Sunday. So if you want, you guys can go to my profile. If you're not following me, follow me. That way you get notified when I go live, when I put out content. I go live every Thursday around 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, sometimes a few minutes before, sometimes a few minutes after. So right around then. The replay goes out in my newsletter every Sunday, so you can sign up for the newsletter there if you want. Again, coaching, all the things. Oh, I forgot to mention, guys, one-on-one sessions. If you guys want a one-on-one video session with me, they are $50 off right now. So, and I'm not sure how long I'm going to run that, but I just felt like doing it. So there's that as well. No more 90-minute sessions available right now because I got booked out on those, but there are 45-minute sessions available and they're $50 off. Okay, so thank you for being here, guys. Go ahead and give me a follow and link in bio for all the things, and I'll see you next week. Bye.